Hi my dear students, welcome back. In this lecture here, I want to show you some tricks with something called hovers. Alright, it's basically when we put our mouse over certain element in the screen, we see something happening, right? And I want to show you that with CSS. So anyways, this is just extra courses, extra lectures that I'm making for you. Hopefully you'll like it and you'll appreciate it. But anyways, let's go ahead and start doing this. So from the black.html, here, let's do a save as, and let's call this hovers.html. Right? There is so much things that CSS has to offer, and this is one of the things there, that some of the features, but there are so many. So I'm just trying to give you some examples so that way you have a pretty good idea on the things that you can do. All right, I'm gonna try to always keep updating this course to add some new features so that way you guys can get some experience. All right, so I'm just gonna name this title here hovers, and I'm gonna make a div here with an ID of hovers. There we go, hovers. All right, so what I want to do is I want to create a div here, and when I put my mouse over, I want something to happen, right? So let's first style this div, and I'm going to open the browser there. I'm gonna go back to styles.css, and let's go ahead and play around with that div, right? So the pound sign and hovers, that's the name of the div. We're first gonna create a height and a width for it, right? So width of maybe 200 pixels. I don't want it too big. And height of 200 pixels. That should be okay. Let's put a border around it, even though I can still see it there. But if I refresh it, if I put my mouse over it here, all right, it's not doing it right now, but it's a way that you could see that happening. But anyways, I'm not that familiar with this code editor, by the way. I use Sublime Text, which is a more professional code editor, even though this code editor here has been really well defined. So there's a lot of people contributing to it. But anyways, so border 1 pixel solid black. So that way we can see the div. I like to create borders around my elements so that way I see them. I'm going to leave this on the side because I'm going to put another element right here on the right hand side, all right, or one beneath. So now what I want to create is a hover effect on this div here. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. It's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to grab the ID here, and I'm going to put a colon here, and I'm going to say hover. Now this is going to look super weird to you because you've never seen this. This is called a pseudo selector. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I want to change the background of this when somebody hovers over it. So background, and I could say background color if I wanted to, hyphen color. And I'm going to change this to black. Now if I refresh and I put my mouse over it, you can see that I changed the background of it. All right, you can find out all about pseudo selectors, but know that we just need a colon here and the keyword hover to change that. All right, so look at this. Beautiful, right? And you can do this with any element you want. As a matter of fact, we can actually change the border. All right, when we hover over, we can change anything we want. So let's change the red, refresh, and you can see that I not only when I hover over it changes the background, but it changes the borders around too. All right, so we can have something inside. Let's say, for example, let's go to practice 2, and I don't have, actually is in hovers.html, I don't have anything there. So let's just put some words and say, hey student, this is gonna be black, right? So if I put my mouse over it, you won't be able to see it, right? So let's go back to it, to style.css, and I'm going to grab the h2. I'm going to show you right now, put it right here actually, and then the h2 that's inside that hovers, and I'm going to text align it to center, and you can have some other things here. Text align it to center. You can see that it just center out, so that way we have it there. But when I hover over it, because I can't see it, I'm gonna change the color. And when I put color by itself, it's just gonna color any text that's in there. You see this background, this for the background, we have to specify that we want to change the background. For the text, we just say text. We just say color, right? So I want to change the color to white, and you can put it in something called hexadecimal. And this is what I did here. If you sometimes I forget to explain some of the things that I do, but this is called Hexadecimal Colors, and I think I went over with you on that, on how you can go and find a color picker online. So you can come here online and type in hexadecimal or something like that. Hexadecimal colors. All right, I actually did that with you. So you can go to color heads right here, and you can take this color here if you want, and you can put it right here. All right, but and remember, it always has a pound sign. That hexadecimal always has a pound sign, and you can put 3 numbers or you can put 6, just like here. They all have 6. That's the limit. If you put more than that, it does not work, right? So you can do that. But for for demonstration purposes only, I'm just gonna use the name white. So when I hover over it, I'm gonna change that text to white so that I can see it. Look at that. So now I can see that text. All right. So like again, you can do this to any element you want. You can even put a picture here, and you can change the opacity of the picture. So let's go ahead and do that. You want to do that? We can actually go ahead and grab one of these pictures right here. Let me see if I can just put it right here. Let's play around with this a little bit. There we go. We got the picture there, but the picture is too big for this, right? So we can say something like background. So what I did, you saw what I did. I just copied what was here and pasted it in the hovers div that we have here. All right. So now let's change the size of that background. Oops, I was changing this. Oops, almost messed up my element there. So we're gonna say background, and I think it's a property here. I don't see it there, but I know there is background size. There we go. And background size is going to be 100%. And if you see that, we have the image repeated many times inside, right? So what we want to do is we also want to use another property called background. And hopefully you're getting a lot of knowledge right now. Background repeat. All right. And we are going to stop that repeating effect right now. Colon. And then we're going to choose no repeat right here. No repeat. Oops. I'm trying to do that automatic. There we go. Semicolon. And now if we do that, now the image is going to be there. No repeat. And it's going to be 100% of this div, which is like that. All right. So now we could get that text out of there if we wanted to, so that it doesn't look as bad as it does right now. Let's just comment this out for now. And now we have that image inside there via CSS, and it's taking 100% of that. Let's go back to it, and let's do something that I wanted to do, is that we can change the opacity of this whole thing. And opacity, I'm trying to put as much information in your brain as possible, so that way you can have an idea. So the opacity, we can change the opacity to actually 0.9. All right, and it goes to 10 actually, and 10 would be 1. And you can see it went down, the color went down a little bit here. Let's do it to 5. You see that? Let's comment this hover color out, because I want to show you something. So I'm going to comment that out, and you can see right now that that image opacity went down, right? So it's almost transparent. What I want to do is I want to increase the opacity when I hover over it. So if I hover over this, I'm going to close this out here. If I hover over this, I want to increase the opacity to 1. That would be 100%. Refresh. You see that? Now if I put my mouse over, I can see the whole image. This is very useful when you want to tell the user, you want to give the user an indication that they have to click on something. Look at that. All right. So hopefully in this video here, I was able to show you a lot of information. And all you can do, if this was a lot of information for you, rewind the video and look at it. All I'm doing basically is using a bunch of different properties here, all right, for CSS, and changing the HTML document right here. All right, so look at the properties, learn them, practice them, play around with them, be creative. And if you're not creative like me, because I'm not that creative, just practice and practice and play around with it. You'll get better eventually. All right, so it was a pleasure like always. Thank you so much, and I hope you like these practice exercises. All right, bye bye.